You believe that you value things based on their quality. You believe you buy what you need when you need it. You are wrong. You are a victim of the scarcity principle, a psychological hijack that forces you to assign a higher value to an object simply because it is perceived as difficult to obtain. The architects of modern consumerism have realized a dark truth. They don't need to make a product better. They just need to make it fewer. By creating the illusion of a vanishing supply, they bypass your rational mind and strike at your primitive survival instincts. They turn a civilized human into a desperate scavenger. You aren't buying the product. You are buying relief from the fear of losing it. The social psychologist Robert Cialdini identified scarcity as one of the most dangerous pillars of influence. He proved that the human brain is hardwired to prioritize potential loss over potential gain. From an evolutionary standpoint, this was a survival mechanism. If food was scarce, you fought for it. But today, that same ancient circuitry is being exploited to sell you plastic sneakers, digital coins, and mass-produced luxury bags. In the United States, the phrase limited edition is corporate code for we created a fake shortage to extract your real wealth. You are being manipulated by a digital clock ticking toward a fake zero. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre argued that to have is to be. In our hollowed-out consumer society, we have been convinced that our identity is a collection of our possessions. When an item becomes scarce, your freedom to possess it feels threatened. This triggers psychological reactance, a state of mental rebellion where you want the item 10 times more simply because you were told you might not be able to have it. The elite understand this hunger. They don't chase the scarce. They create it. They know that true status isn't about owning what everyone else wants. It's about wanting nothing that the market dangles in front of you. Consider the diamond deception, the greatest marketing heist in human history. For over a century, diamonds have been sold as the ultimate symbol of rarity and eternal value. In reality, diamonds are abundant. The De Beers cartel spent decades controlling the supply, hoarding stones in vaults to create an artificial shortage. They anchored the price to a lie, and the world fell for it. You aren't wearing a rare gem. You are wearing a masterpiece of supply chain manipulation. The elite minds look past the limited label. They ask, if there were 10 million of these on every street corner, would I still want it? If the answer is no, then the value you feel is a hallucination. The sociologist Thorstein Veblen spoke of conspicuous consumption, the act of buying things not for their use, but to display social power. Scarcity is the high-octane fuel for this fire. In the USA, owning a 1 of 100 inches item isn't about the item's craftsmanship. It's about the 99 Kreis Prachtchamp. It's about the 99,900 inches people who were excluded from the purchase. It is a game of social violence. Arthur Schopenhauer warned that humans are like hedgehogs in winter. We crowd together for warmth, but hurt each other with our spines. Scarcity is the spine. It makes us compete for things we don't even like, just to feel a fleeting sense of superiority over the person next to us. Think about the supreme or sneaker drop culture that has infected the youth of America. People camp outside stores in the cold, or spend hours refreshing a web page at midnight to buy a brick or a plain cotton t-shirt with a red logo. The physical product costs pennies to manufacture, but the limited drop makes it worth thousands in the distorted mirror of the mass mind. These people are not buying fashion. They are buying proof of access. They are buying proof of access. They are paying a premium to say they were chosen by a corporation. The elite don't wait in lines. They don't refresh websites. They know that if you have to fight for it, you are already part of the herd. True power is being the one who decides what is valuable, not the one who begs for the scraps of a limited supply. The stoic philosopher Seneca wrote that wealth is the slave of the wise man and the master of the fool. Scarcity is the mechanism that turns wealth into a master. It creates a state of false urgency that forces you to make a decision before your prefrontal cortex can engage. Whether it is a flash sale on Amazon, a one-time only offer at a car dealership, or the last call at a bar, the goal is the same. to make you act out of panic rather than purpose. The elite respond to urgency with calculated silence. They know that if a deal is only valid for 5 minutes, it isn't a deal, it's a heist. Blaise Pascal once famously noted that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Scarcity is the ultimate distraction from that quiet room. It tells you that the good life is happening elsewhere, in a vanishing window, and you are being left behind. It creates a FOMO, fear of missing out, that is actually a fear of non-existence. If you don't have the limited edition life, do you even exist? The system wants you to believe that the answer is no. The strategist Niccolò Machiavelli observed that men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions. Artificial scarcity is the most immediate of needs. Think about the Disney Vault strategy. By taking movies off the market for years, Disney created a sense of vanishing history. When they finally re-released a title for a limited time, parents scrambled to buy it, not because their children needed that specific movie right then, but because they were afraid it would disappear forever. They weren't selling animation, they were selling access to childhood. This same trick is now the backbone of the digital economy. NFTs, digital collectibles, and even certain cryptocurrencies rely entirely on code-based scarcity. They have convinced people to pay millions for a digital file that can be copied in a second, simply because a ledger says it is rare. This is the ultimate evolution of the scarcity trap, selling nothing but the concept of rarity. Jean Baudrillard would call this the simulacrum, a copy with no original. We are now paying for the shadow of a shadow. To break this spell, the elite practice intentional abundance. They follow the teachings of Epicurus, who understood that true pleasure comes from the removal of pain and the fulfillment of natural and necessary desires. You don't feel FOMO for oxygen. You don't feel a limited time offer panic for water. These are abundant and essential. The things that keep you awake at night, the limited edition, sneakers, the special release, luxury car, the invite-only social app, are vain and empty. They are designed to keep you in a state of Tantalus, forever reaching for fruit that the wind blows away, forever bending for water that the earth swallows up. Most people spend their entire lives chasing these vanishing fruits. They believe that if they just get that one rare item, they will finally be enough. But the system is designed to make sure there is always a newer, rare, and shorter release tomorrow. You are a hamster on a gold-plated wheel. You are running toward a finish line that moves every time you take a step. You are sacrificing your real time, the only truly scarce resource you possess, for fake rarity. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the will to power. To have true power is to have the strength to say no to the artificial. Most people live in mental scarcity. They believe there is not enough to go around, so they grab everything that is labeled rare. The elite live in universal abundance. They know that opportunities, like the tides, are infinite. They don't rush, they don't panic. They wait for the opportunity that fits their grand vision, not the one that fits a ticking clock. In the United States, the hustle culture is a form of scarcity pornography. It tells you that success is a limited resource, and if you aren't working 20 hours a day, someone else is taking your piece of the pie. This creates a society of high-functioning neurotics, constantly looking over their shoulders, terrified that they are missing out on the top 1%. But the true top 1% don't hustle out of fear. They build out of clarity. They know that a calm, rational mind is the rarest and most valuable asset in a world of manufactured chaos. The sociologist Zygmunt Bauman described our era as liquid modernity, where everything, jobs, relationships, identities, is temporary and fleeting. Scarcity is the anchor we try to use in this liquid world. We believe that by holding on to limited things, we can gain some permanence. But you cannot build a foundation on shifting sand. The only thing that is truly limited edition is your own life. Every minute you spend obsessing over a drop is a minute you have sold to a corporation for zero return. When you look at a sold-out sign, most people see a tragedy. The elite see a red flag. They ask, why was this made to sell out? Who benefits from my frustration? They perform a replacement test. They imagine the item is suddenly abundant, found in every trash can and every corner store. If it loses its luster in that thought experiment, it was never valuable. It was only scarce. Most people will finish this video and immediately be hit by a limited time offer in their inbox. Their heart will race. Their thumb will hover over the buy now button. They will remember the only two left warning. They will fall back into the trap because the dopamine hit of winning the item is too strong to resist. They will stay trapped in a cycle of buying things they don't want, with money they don't have to prove their worth to people who don't care. But you have stayed until the end because you have felt the heavy chain of the scarcity trap. You have realized that value is not a function of availability, it is a function of truth. You are ready to stop being a hunter of manufactured shadows. You are ready to start building your own abundance. You are ready to be the architect of your own value. The door to the elite is wide open. It is not limited. It is not exclusive. It is simply ignored by the masses who are too busy fighting over the limited edition scraps. The gatekeepers want you to think it's a tight squeeze so you'll value their permission to enter. Throw away their permission. Walk through the gate. This is the final secret. The world is trying to make you small by making you feel like everything is running out. But the universe is infinite, and so is your potential for clarity. The most scarce resource on this planet is not gold, or diamonds, or limited run fashion. It is a calm, sovereign mind in a world of manufactured panic. If you want to join the 100,000 who have mastered their own instincts and seen through the corporate veil, you belong here. Subscribe to join the intellectually sovereign. The clock is fake. The scarcity is a lie. The freedom is yours. Stand your ground.